Attention passionate Detroit, Lions fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Detroit Lions' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Detroit Lions fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Detroit LIONS fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. You better buckle up because what we're hearing right now could be a game changer for the Lions. Rumors are swirling that the Minnesota Vikings, who are currently sitting at a middling 4-4 record, are eyeing a potential trade that could shake up the NFC North, and it's all centered around Christian Darrisaw. Yeah, you heard that right. The Vikings, who are currently battling some struggles on defense, especially in their run game and pass rush, might be willing to part ways with their star left tackle in exchange for a first-round pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. And that pick could very well be headed to Detroit. This is some serious speculation, but the sources are whispering that Minnesota is seriously considering moving Darrisaw, who's just 26 years old and one of the top young tackles in the league. Why would the Vikings do this? Well, they're kind of stuck right now. Their cap situation isn't ideal. They've got about $18 million projected for 2024, and with some key players like Jefferson, who's taking up a massive $30 million hit, they're trying to figure out how to rebuild efficiently. Their offense, ranked 17th in EPA per pass, isn't exactly lighting up the scoreboard, and their defense, which is giving up 24 points a game and ranks 20th in EPA per run, needs some serious upgrades. Plus, with J.J. McCarthy's inconsistency at quarterback, Minnesota's looking for ways to bolster their secondary and their front lines. Moving Darrisaw, who has a stellar track record with 55 starts, an average PFF grade of 89.2, and minimal injuries, could be the move that gives them some cap flexibility and a shot at a rebuild focused on their secondary and pass defense. From the Lions' side of things, this could be a huge boost. With Taylor Decker and Penei Sewell missing some games due to injuries earlier in the season, Detroit has been fighting to keep their offensive line stable. But Darrisaw's addition would be a game-changer, creating a ripple effect that could significantly boost Detroit's run blocking and pass protection. The Lions, currently sitting at 5-3 in the NFC North, have been looking for ways to strengthen their offensive line after some injury setbacks, and a guy like Darrisaw could be the perfect piece. His presence would inject new life into their run game, which has been solid but could use an extra push, especially with Montgomery and the Lions' overall rushing attack trying to find more consistency. Let's talk numbers because they paint a pretty compelling picture. Darrisaw in his career has started 55 games and boasts an impressive 89, 2 grade from PFF on average. In 2025, he's played 9 games with a grade of 88. 5, ranking him as one of the top offensive tackles in the league. His run block win rate is a stellar 85%, and his pass pro is at 87. 1 with pressures allowed totaling just 20. That's elite stuff. He's also been pretty durable, only missing minimal time due to a shoulder tweak in Week 3. And in Week 7, he was perfect, 0 sacks allowed and 4 lanes created for the run game. That kind of consistency makes him a hot commodity and a perfect fit for the Lions' offensive line, which has been a bit inconsistent since the injuries to Decker and Sewell earlier this season. The potential impact on Detroit's rushing attack would be massive. With Darrisaw anchoring the left side, the Lions could see a plus 20% increase in run block EPA, which would translate into more explosive runs and longer drives. Montgomery's EPA per run could jump, boosting the overall efficiency of their rushing game. Their offensive line, which has ranked around 14th after some injury setbacks, would get a shot in the arm, creating more lanes and keeping Jared Goff's pocket cleaner. This aligns perfectly with what Detroit has been trying to do, establish a more balanced attack and control the clock better. A healthy, dominant offensive line can open up the entire offense, making play-action passes more effective and giving Goff the time he needs to find his playmakers. And speaking of Goff, this move could also elevate their passing game, especially in situations under pressure. Their EPA per pass when under pressure has been subpar, but with Darrisaw's help, that number could improve by around 17%. The Lions have been really good at protecting the quarterback when healthy, but adding a guy like Darrisaw helps to mitigate some of that pressure, allowing Goff to operate more comfortably and make those deep throws to the likes of Sam Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's about creating mismatch advantages, and Darrisaw's presence on the line would make a noticeable difference. Now, let's consider how this impacts the playoff picture. If the Lions can lock in Darrisaw, and if the trade goes through, their odds of making a deep playoff run could skyrocket. The Super Bowl odds, currently around +7-0, could see a significant boost, perhaps to +3-0, especially if Darrisaw's presence helps solidify their offensive line and improve their run game. The Lions have been steadily building a balanced, explosive attack, and adding a player of Darrisaw's caliber could be the final piece that pushes them over the top. It's not just about regular season success. This could be the move that helps them break through in the playoffs and finally contend for that elusive Lombardi trophy. The Vikings, meanwhile, seem to be in a bit of a rebuilding mode. Their odds to make the playoffs are already slim, especially if their run blocking and pass defense don't improve. Losing Darrisaw might hurt their offensive line in the short term, but they're clearly looking at the bigger picture, freeing up cap space, acquiring draft capital, and focusing on a rebuild centered around their secondary and pass rush. Their odds of a deep playoff run with the current roster are pretty low, especially considering their struggles in the trenches, and trading Darrisaw could be a sign they're leaning into that rebuild. For Detroit fans, this all spells opportunity. The Lions are already a competitive team, sitting comfortably at 5-3, and with the right moves, like adding Darrisaw, they could be positioned to not just make the playoffs, but make a serious run. The NFC North is wide open this season, with the Packers, Bears, and Vikings all trying to find their footing. But Detroit's stability and talent, combined with the potential upgrade on their offensive line, make them one of the most dangerous teams in the conference. In terms of the bigger picture, this potential trade is reminiscent of the Lions' 90s run, when they made shrewd moves to build a powerhouse squad. It's about being strategic, thinking ahead, and making bold moves to secure a brighter future. The Lions' front office has shown they're willing to be aggressive when the opportunity arises, and acquiring a player like Darrisaw would certainly fit that mold. It's about creating a team that not only competes now, but is built to sustain success for years to come. And let's not forget the other side of the coin. The Vikings are feeling the pressure. Their chances of making a wild card or even contending in the NFC are waning if they don't get their defense and offensive line sorted out. Trading Darrisaw might be a way to accelerate their rebuild, but it also leaves their offensive line a bit more vulnerable in the short term. Still, Minnesota's management seems to be playing the long game, and this move might be part of a bigger plan to retool for the future, especially with cap space and draft picks in hand. So what does this all mean for us, the Lions faithful? It's exciting, folks. It's a reminder that the NFL is always changing, always evolving, and that being proactive, whether through trades, draft picks, or strategic signings, is what separates the good from the great. Detroit has been trending upward, and with a bit of luck, smart moves, and maybe a little bit of that Lions magic, they could be on the cusp of something special. The addition of Darrisaw, or even the mere possibility, fuels optimism about what this team can accomplish in the second half of the season and beyond. As we keep our eyes peeled for official confirmation and more details, one thing is clear. The NFC North is about to get even more competitive, and Detroit Lions fans should be ready for whatever comes next. The potential of adding a top-tier tackle like Darrisaw could be the spark that ignites their Super Bowl ambitions, and we're here to cover every step of that journey. The Lions have always been about resilience, grit, and never giving up, and it looks like the front office might be making some moves to ensure they stay on that path for years to come. And now, Detroit Lions fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Detroit Lions. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Detroit Lions news.